touch that peak. Oh, I've been grinding all week. Ain't no stopping me. Oh, I ain't getting no sleep till I touch that peak. Oh, I've been grinding all week. Ain't no stopping me. Ain't no stopping me. Ain't no stopping me. Ain't no stopping me. Till I touch that peak. Oh, I've been grinding all week. Ain't no stopping me. Oh, I ain't getting no sleep till I touch that peak. Oh, I've been grinding all week. Ain't no stopping me. Ain't no stopping me. Ain't no stopping me. Ain't no stopping me. Till I touch that peak. Oh, I've been grinding all week. Ain't no stopping me. Oh, I ain't getting no sleep till I touch that peak. Oh, I've been grinding all week. Ain't no stopping me. Ain't no stopping me. Ain't no stopping me. Ain't no stopping. Touch that peak. Oh, I've been grinding all week. Ain't no stopping me. Oh, I ain't getting no sleep till I touch that peak. Oh, I've been grinding all week. Ain't no stopping.
did we get this graphic?
Yeah, right.
This is great. Look at Nintendo. They're just like, nah, don't even try.
Way out with this. I saw
Wow.
one like this about with the number one selling artists, and like, well, it's 1979, everybody's jogging for position, and then in 1980, Thriller came out, and it was just like left everybody in the dust. Like, it was crazy. I mean, some of these, I mean, the NEC, I remember that, but I had like one or two friends that had it. I had that though, the Game Gear. The Game Gear was awesome, except for the battery life was like 25 minutes. Oh man.
Man, is this total units of every system they've ever put out?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. That's a
crazy.
lot.
That is a lot. I mean,
holy mackerel.
What was your first system?
The first system that was mine was the original handheld Game Boy, the brick.
Mm-hmm.
That taupe colored, monochrome, green screen. You had to be in the right light, and if you were on a road trip, you hope to God you had a street light. That was my first one, and then it was Sega Genesis. I had the Gen 2 one, and of course I'm repping Sonic here, so
absolutely
that's my jam.
Yeah, no, the first system I had was a Super NES, and I had a couple of games. I had NBA Jam. I had of course all the Mario Brothers, but Mario Kart, that was my jam, and it still is to this day. Like, I was top 5,000 in Mario Kart on the original Wii before the crazy people started jumping in. But I guess you go ahead.
Yeah, that's before the speedrunners.
Mm. Oh, tell me about it. Yeah. But anyways, I guess you guys know what we're talking about. So welcome to ROMA Nation. I'm AK, your favorite guy, and tonight we're going to cover a blast from the past as we check out the retro gaming consoles that shaped our lives. And this is part one of a 3-part series of the history of gaming as ROMA Nation starts now. All right. Well, you guys know what's going on tonight, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. But before that, we got a Discord where all the magic happens for ROMA Nation. You want to be a podcast host, producer, research, or writer for us? It's the only place for you to be the fastest growing podcast community on Rumble. Also, please check out our website. This is where Rise of Middle America Podcast Network, where all of our shows, you can see our most recent content, news, rants, and deep dives, as well as up-and-coming events that you don't want to miss. And Turtle gave us these great characters. I still laugh every time I see them.
Yeah, dude, the AI is broken. I've been messing with this. It's getting to the point now they're having to pull the reins in. So, if you've got your favorite anime or your favorite kind of cartoon or whatever, and you want to restyle your portraits, you better get your prompts in soon because time is running out on that. They're going to lock down. There's a lot of stuff. I was trying to get some Cowboy Bebop vibes on a picture of AK and I sitting in the car on our way to Timcast, and it was like, nope. Can't do that. Dude, I tried every prompt from here to next Thursday, and it just said, nope, sorry. It's like, dang. But anyway, yeah. Turtle did a real good job with those.
No, he absolutely did. Give me a second here because I'm supposed to be pulling up our website for the merchandise, but for some reason this link is acting funny every time I try to pull it up. But anyways, we got a merch site. So right down here, you can show your support by going to Roma Nation merch here on Roma Nation, or I'm sorry, riseofmiddleamerica.com, or you go down as a PayPal link where you can make a monetary contribution to help us become the #1 podcast network on Rumble.
And one other thing we're shilling out here
Yes.
is it's based. This is friends of ours. We met through the Timcast Discord. Those guys are over there making all kinds of cool stuff. These are legit devs. These are legit devs. They've got guys in their Discord and in this group that are kind of undercover-ish from other big name companies that at least that's the rumor on the street. And they're taking Culture War by storm here, and they're keeping it rolling. Why this is relevant is we're doing games, and for the next 3 weeks, we're going to be talking about them at least in a spot here like this, because when we get done with the future episode, past, present, future, the Sunday after, I'm going to be hanging out with those guys when they do their game jam. That's where devs get together to compete for prizes, developing a game within certain key, criteria, and they have a limited time frame to do so. And so I believe that's going to be one of their live streams at some point within the context of their competition. Yeah, you can find It's Based Game Jam on X.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I mean, they've had a couple
great.
of them. They had Ian Crossland on. They had, who else did they have on there?
Oh, yeah, they had Ian Crossland on. They had Krigler. Andrew Wilson was in there on one of their game jams. I was a host early on one of them. Andy Pants Gaming. They've got, I think the last game jam, it was G Prime. I think G Prime was involved with that. Yeah. He was on there. So, and I believe he's going to be back around again this time. So if you're into that kind of thing, check these guys out.
It's based. It's the game jam. Based. Absolutely.
And now back to
our regularly scheduled program. All right. So before Fortnite, before like Call of Duty, even before Mario, there was Pong, there was what do you have? Space Invaders. You had games like that a lot of people know, but it's starting to become a real pastime. So we travel back to the very birth of console gaming, from wooded panel Ataris, the 16-bit wars. This is a bit series. So part 1 is our deep dive into the history of gaming consoles, and we got a special guest. His name is Salty from the Salty and Savage Show, and he's going to be joining us here. So let's get into it. Welcome, Salty, in past, present, and future, the birth of gaming consoles.
Yeah. We're getting in on that 80s again, aren't we?
Make America 80s again. You're damn right. Everything was better in the 80s, so we need to make America 80s again. What up, everybody? What up, Roma? What up, Scrap? What up, chat?
How you doing?
How you been? You took a little break there before you guys came back to doing shows. What's up?
Yeah, I took a bit of a break. Had a lot going on during the holidays, man. And, family comes first, and I had a lot of work. I had to do a lot of drawing I had to do to get my comic book done. Yeah, it was a lot. So we took a break, but we're glad to be back. New year, new time. Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And here to play. Talk about some video games that I used to play. You guys playing any games?
Yeah, I played Fortnite for the first time at length last night with my son.
Oh, no way?
Yeah, I pulled the Switch up onto my ultra wide here, and my thumb is all kind of still screwed up from the surgery I had back in November, so like I can't quite with the controller. I'm going to have to figure it out on my PC and get that keyboard mouse action back up.
You know what a video game thumb sounds like? Ready? Oh, there. I don't know if you guys heard that. Sometimes it does a double crack.
No, you remember they used to have the that commercial was like I played 24 hours or whatever, and the thumb was like this big.
Yeah. Dude, I have this thumb like does like a double crack on often, and then this thumb I can't crack at all anymore.
Look,
So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that right there, the double jointedness. Yeah,
That's messed
perfect for gaming. But yeah, so of course, with the phenom of gaming that began back in 1972. It emphasized the goal of tracing evolution of in-home gaming. We're going to explain this episode the foundational 6 consoles in early game history. We've got Atari, we've got ColecoVision. There's going to be some other ones in here too, but these are the main ones. So you got of course, the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, Sega Master System, Super Nintendo, and then Sega Genesis. All right, these are all the console, the 8-bit, the 16-bit. So
we're going basically from like 1970s to the early 1990s.
Pretty much. So everything all the way up to the CD era.
3DO. Dude, what a big disappointment the 3DO was. Sorry, so instead of 3DO.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Oh, dude, I had like one friend that had that, and it was like the stupidest games on that thing. It was like, what was it, like CD-ROM? There was like a cowboy game. It was like a mystery cowboy video. Oh, so bad. It was so bad.
Oh my god, those were so much fun. And the thing is that back then, like each system is like the graphics were like, oh my god, this is like the state of the art graphics. And we look back at it now, it's like, no, it wasn't. Not even close.
State of the art. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was the experience from when because we had Intellivision when I was like a really little kid, and then my dad came home with the Nintendo, and it was like, oh my god, the graphics are so amazing. It was such a huge upgrade.
No, it was great. It was great because like you always had something to look forward to, and when you look at the games of now, I mean, we're going to talk about that in the future episode. It's like it's all pretty much the same, because if you have an Xbox, you have an Xbox One and an Xbox Series X, there's not really much difference, maybe processing speed.
Yeah.
So game load times might be better. Maybe a little bit of optimization, it's all in like the other things, like, your peripherals and whatnot.
I don't know what it's like to be a console peasant anymore, though. So, I mean, I feel bad for all of you sad console peasants with your little boxes. Oh, so cute.
I have a Razer gaming laptop that I prefer, but it's on the shelf right now. It needs some work, but we'll pop it back out.
Yeah, so let's take a blast from the past and look at the Atari game.
We can turn this down back a little bit.
Space Invaders. Look at that.
Man.
I mean, this is...
How many units did the 2600 sell?
Oh, geez.
30 million?
30 million?
30 million of them, yeah.
Holy moly.
It had
That's a lot for an inferior gaming system.
It had a 1 megahertz CPU and 128 bytes of RAM. Like...
Bro, that couldn't even turn on the light on my Xbox.
I know, right? Look at that. Oh, the sound.
I think there are light bulbs that have more memory than these. I mean, smart devices these days do so much.
Frogger? Oh, yeah, Frogger.
This is the first game I ever played, was Frogger.
Pitfall?
Pitfall,
yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember playing this. I used to get mad because I couldn't jump over that moat. And my dad would be like, okay, you know what? Let me just do this part.
Ooh. It's like a better Space Invaders. I said, hold my beer. See, Pac-Man is the bomb. I had Miss Pac-Man on the Sega Genesis. We'll get to talking about the Genesis in a little bit, but I didn't realize that Miss Pac-Man was this old.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah,
basically, the Genesis version was a remake.
Spider-Man. Such a dumb game. It was such a dumb game. Oh.
I mean, just look. Like, this just brings back memories. Like, I'm having I'm having like PTSD, but good PTSD right now. Yeah, because this was good back in the late '70s, early '80s. Of course, the iconic games on it was we got Pong, Space Invaders, Adventure, Pitfall, and it revolutionized gaming with like interchangeable cartridges, and was widely adopted home console in the U.S. But the oversaturation with the low quality games led to almost like a video game crash in the middle of the '80s.
It was a whole fiasco. They tried to bury in the desert over that, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
E.T.
Oh yeah,
literally buried all of the E.T. cartridges in the desert. They actually excavated that like an archaeological dig and tested some of them, and they were still working.
Oh my god, this game.
Kung Fu Master. Here we go. There you go.
I mean, I don't know. There's some people probably sleeping in the audience right now, but no, this is great because I remember when I first got my system, my Genesis. I'm sorry, the Super Nintendo, and then the Genesis the year after, and man, it was so much fun. Like especially when you have kids and you've got a lot of friends that come over. You know, if you had friends that didn't have the system and you did, everybody went to your house. You know, you were the popular one. All right, so what else we got here? So we got Collectivision. See, this one I'm not as familiar with, but it's sold.
Is this the commie version of ColecoVision?
I'm sorry, ColecoVision. That's what.
Did you say Collectivision?
Collectivision. Like, CommieVision, whatever.
In communist Russia, video game plays you.
Yeah, but this is from. But this was from Coleco Industries.
Now playing on ColecoVision. Subrock, the ultimate sea and air battle comes home on ColecoVision. Looping, experience the dizzying, dazzling daring of Super Ace Aviation on ColecoVision. Omega Race pits you against a galaxy of alien antagonists on ColecoVision. Pepper 2, the eerie arcade adventure filled with frightening surprises. Four great new arcade hits are now playing on ColecoVision.
Oh, it's probably over. There you go. Say that again, guys.
Under protest.
I couldn't hear you.
So, ColecoVision sold 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have the Intellivision, which sold 3.75 million units. It's the best video game system of the second generation.
See, I knew I was going to leave some of them out, right? Because when I was doing this and I was trying to figure this out, I'm like, okay, what games have I not played? That was the first thing that I did. I was like, which video games have I not played, and which ones had like the most popular games, whatnot, when I was trying to build the script. This was not easy, by the way. I thought it was going to be nice and easy. As you get later on into the other episodes, it gets a little bit easier. But the everything from like 72 to like 84, it was slim pickings trying to figure out what was what. You know, so
it was a hot mess.
Oh no, it definitely was. So this is so I found a guy that did 49 years of video game consoles in 10 minutes. So the two that we just talked about are going to be on this, and then we're going to move into our third gen of gaming. So let's check it out.
First home console was released all the way back in the groovy days of 1972. There have been over 30 consoles created and sold in North America. That is an astonishingly high number. At this time, Nintendo was still years away from making their first console in Japan. Sony was still 20 years away from the launch of the original PlayStation, and Microsoft was 30 years away from the launch of the original Xbox. As you can see, times were much different back then. Remember Sega? Yeah, gaming has come a long way through the years. So I'm going to run through every single console generation by generation.
You'd have to get Mortal Kombat.
It all began with the first generation of video game consoles, and
it's in Mortal Kombat.
So on the Genesis, you could get
Magnavox
Mortal Kombat with
Odyssey,
the blood,
which was released in
Nintendo
1972.
had no blood.
The Odyssey had a really cool name and used
so
removable printed circuit
that game was
cards,
not allowed in
similar
our
to a
house.
typical game. The console has that
ABACABB, baby.
And just fit right in back then.
I know the blood
weren't
code,
too complicated on the Odyssey either.
We had it.
They consisted of 3 square dots and a line. You even had to put a plastic overlay on your screen
There's the
sometimes to
overlay.
add additional visual elements to the games. Yeah, it was the first console
Yeah,
ever, so I'm going to
interactive.
cut it some slack.
4D, guys.
Magnavox
4D.
would go on to make
It's
more improved
4D.
versions of the Odyssey until 1977 and etched their name into video game history forever. The second generation of video game consoles began in 1976 with the Fairchild Channel F. The F supposedly stood for
Let's just
fun,
appreciate
but I
that
think it
consoles
actually
haven't
stood for
gotten much
fluff.
bigger
It
than they
wasn't
are
the
than they
best
have
console
always
for
been.
hardcore gamers,
They've
but their
stayed in a
education games for
decent
children
sized
were
form
solid.
factor.
1977 saw the release of the famous Atari 2600, the console that is widely regarded as the king of the second generation. Its revolutionary joystick
These are
controller
lies.
changed
These are
the game
filthy
forever.
lies.
Until
It's television.
1977, you
I mean,
only
they've
saw
got a
joysticks
reproduction
in
of
the
that that's
arcade,
basically the
but
same
Atari
housing,
2600
but it's one of those retro repros with all the ROMs inside of
Yeah.
it. And then have
Which
you
looks
bought
awesome.
their whiskey glass decanter set yet? It's glass controller. It's a glass controller joystick with whiskey glasses, and it's got the Atari logos on it.
Nice.
Yeah,
What?
you can buy those. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I want to get one.
You need to
Just
put that.
to have it in my retro gaming lounge whenever I build the basement up.
Yeah, PS5 is a chonker though.
PS5 is a chonker. PS3 was a chonker when it first released, and then
Yeah, it
the
was.
first gen of the Xbox 3, not the 360, the Xbox One, it was kind of a VCR.
Oh yeah, that thing had its own address and zip code. But yeah, but yeah, we were just talking about how you had to put the thing on the screen in order to get it all lined up. But if your screen was either too big or too small, it was really wonky.
Get the masking tape out; it's fine.
At some point, it was going to stop sticking. So let's continue.
Put one in your home. Along with Pac-Man, Space Invaders may be the most well-known game on the console and helped drive sales up. In 1978, we got the Bally Astrocade, which flopped.
No one cares about that one.
In 1979, we got the Magnavox Odyssey
Womp
2,
womp.
an all-new console building upon the first one ever
Look at the
created, and it was
graphics.
actually pretty good.
Dude, the
Lastly, in
graphics were actually-
1980, we got
Intellivision!
the Intellivision.
There it
It
goes.
was Mattel's first video game console ever, and actually gave the Atari 2600 a run.
Look at
for
those
its money.
graphics.
Bro. So before we get into third generation, so tell us more about this system. All right, because
What's
Mattel,
television?
yeah, because Mattel was more. They were known for like
Board games and
board games and dolls.
Yeah.
Well,
Kids-
let me
kids
pull it
don't.
up since I have a list of things right here. The CPU was a 16-bit General Instrument CP1610 microprocessor. Memory was 1K RAM with 6K ROM. Graphics Standard Television Interface Chip, or the STIC, with a 159 by 96 resolution and 16 color palettes. 3-channel audio with 1 noise generator, ROM cartridges. Controller featured a directional thumb pad and a numeric keypad. Have you guys ever even seen one? It is glorious.
leave it to the comic book artist to nerd out over the color palette of like a 40-year-old.
Dude, that was huge. That was more than the 2600. That was more than the 2600. Look at this thing. Look at this thing.
Add it. There it is. If
So-
it'll pop. Yeah.
Hey.
Had these controllers, and then you have these little plastic sheets, and those plastic sheets would slide into the controller, and then you would control. So it would change depending on the game you were playing. And then they even had like joystick add-ons. You had these little things right here, and they would slide in the controller. That was great. And they even had this thing. Voice. You could actually interact with your video game and give voice commands.
What?
Oh, bro. Dude,
What am I missing out on?
the
What is-
Intellivision was awesome, man. When I was like 3 or 4 years old, man, we played the crap out of it, man. It was way better than the 2600. Look at this. Look at this. Fake wood paneling. How lush it is. Right.
It's like my grandfather's
good.
dashboard.
Look, my first car looked like that system. All right, I had
Yeah.
an '89 Lincoln. Think of what, Town and Country station wagon.
Oh
Yeah, with the rumble seats that popped up.
Look, you could even have a place for your controllers. You just put your controllers right here because they were not, no wireless back then, but a little compartment for it. You put the game right there on the side. This is good stuff, dude. Guys, you were missing out if you didn't have an Intellivision, which was short for Intelligent TV Game System.
Man. Yeah, I
Look,
definitely
it looks like a trading
missed out.
card game on top of it. Look at that stuff.
I know, man. You guys like, dude. And if you lost these, it was like you were fired from the house. You had to leave. Yeah, it was no good if you lost one of these.
You know, you got Word Film, Utopic,
Utopia.
Crown of Kings,
Yeah.
Minotaur, and of course the baseball game. That baseball game
Minotaur.
actually looked pretty legit.
I think I
Oh, the
played a
baseball
version
game
of
was-
Minotaur.
Yeah, there was a racing game, and for whatever reason, like you had when you hit right, the car would go left. I don't know why left and right was opposite. So me and my brothers would play upside down. So our heads, like we would look at it with our asses to the TV, looking in between our legs, so that we could play the game correctly and not crash the car. Because I don't know why, but like.
Oh.
So my mom has like a photo of us looking like between our legs down.
You're
Like
gonna
video
have to
game.
source that for one of these next episodes so we can revisit.
Yeah,
we have
we
to
need
see,
photos. Pixar
we have
didn't
to
happen.
see this.
Pixar didn't
A
happen.
wee salty, a wee little salty, like a 4-year-old.
Bet you were a wee little salty when you about passed out from all the blood rushing to your head.
and all the bleeding noses and stuff. Yeah. Oh man, we did wild times back then. Hey, but look at this. We're just fine right now, right? We survived.
I wouldn't say we're fine, but I would say we survived.
Yeah, I don't know. If it's fine.
Right. So, of
We
course, in 1986, we're going to start with the third gen. You guessed it.
Yes.
Guess what ended up showing up here on our doorsteps here in the United States of America? Let's see.
When you get hold of the Nintendo Entertainment System. When you master Rob the video
It's
robot.
music.
And
Dude,
meet
that
the
robot
challenge of
sucked.
Gyromite.
Bro, he sucks on Smash Brothers,
When
too.
you shoot the light
I still
sensing
play him.
zapper.
Dude, Duck
That
Hunt
was
was my
fun.
jam.
The
Yeah,
system
Duck
with
Hunt
the
was a
most
lot of fun.
arcade hits.
You cannot play Duck
You're
Hunt on a flat screen
playing
TV.
with Power.
Yeah.
The Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
Nice.
With power.
When did
Power
you guys
glove.
get that? When did you get the NES, Roma?
I had the Super Nintendo. It was my cousin.
Oh, okay.
My cousin ended up getting the Nintendo, and he got it in 89 or 88. I think it was late
Yeah.
88.
We got it in '88. I remember my dad came home, and it was like the coolest thing. And then that Christmas, I got the Power Glove.
Oh.
And let me tell you guys, the Power Glove, or was it '89? I got the Power Glove. One of those years, I got the Power Glove. The Power Glove sucked. It sucked. That was a lot of. My parents wasted good money on that crap because of that stupid Fred Savage movie. What was that movie? And they made the Power Glove seem so cool, and I was like, oh, I couldn't wait. And I did Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and that crap sucked.
No, I tell you. You remember the trackpad for track
yeah.
and field?
That was fun. That was fun. You'd sit there. The jumping was retarded because you would like jump and it never worked. But the running was kind of fun. But yeah, that Power Glove, dude, it was terrible, bro.
Wait, I
So
think
bad.
I have this clip of that movie. Let me see.
The
if I
Wizard, that's what it was.
Oh my
Stupid
goodness.
movie made me want the Power Glove so bad, and it was more disappointing than
1989 movie The Wizard.
I don't think
one
you're
of the
gonna
most
get
memorable
audio,
scenes in the
but
film
we're gonna at
featured the
least
notorious
enjoy-
Nintendo Power Glove.
yeah.
In the
There
movie,
it
the
was.
Power
So-
Glove is being shown off by cool yet also snobbish and antagonistic gamer
Cool,
kid
yet
character
snobbish.
Lucas. The Nintendo Power Glove was released in October
Rad
1989,
Racer.
just a couple
Was that
months
the
before
game?
the
Was that a
movie
real game, or
premiered
is
in
that
December
just
of
Yeah,
the
no,
same
it was a
year.
real game.
You could use the Power Glove as an alternative controller for most games, but
What?
the reception for it
Oh.
was very poor due to it being hard to use and just impractical.
Yeah, it sucked.
Even though Lucas is the only character throughout the movie who uses or wears the Power Glove, the poster for the film actually features Fred Savage wearing one.
Wow.
False advertisement. False advertisement. I
Dude,
want my
it
money
was-
back.
Dude, that stupid movie. I was like, I can't wait to get the Power Glove. It was cool. And then I got it. I was like, oh, it's so great. And we had Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I was like, obviously that was going to be the first game that I play with, right? Oh, it's terrible, dude. And then everything, like when you would do like, you would have to like this was like B and this was like A, and you'd like it was so bad, dude.
I'll tell you one thing the Power Glove has actually been used for is stop motion animation directors. There's
Really?
the guy that does all of the Robot Chicken stuff. He has a Power Glove that I don't know if it's modified or something, but or it's hooked into whatever, but he uses it for when he's changing the position of the characters, the claymation and whatnot, and then he's just clicking to get his frames. It uses a
Really?
modified. I think it's a modified Power Glove.
That's hilarious. So
Who
it
would've
has
thought?
one purpose for one particular human being on the planet.
Robot
Pretty
Chicken.
much. All right, so NES. I need your favorite game and your worst favorite game. Scrapped. Go.
Favorite game on the NES was Duck Hunt, and my least favorite game on the NES was Super Mario 2.
Oh yeah, I don't like that one.
It was actually a ripoff of another. It was a canceled other game that got refurbished into a Mario game secondhand, I believe, and it was just kind of. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like Mario 1 or Mario 3. It didn't have that juice.
Yeah.
They still like that first 3 Mario games, they lost something in the middle. Something that Sega did not happen to fall over when they produced Sonic 2 on the Genesis, but that's for down the street here when we get past this one.
Yeah. So I would have to say my favorite game on Nintendo would have been actually Ninja Gaiden.
Oh yeah, that was a
Yeah,
fun one.
Ninja Gaiden. That was a really fun game. It was a hard game.
Yeah, that was a super hard game.
Yeah. But I mean, just the different types of levels and the different power ups and things that you can get to shoot out. Oh man, it was so much fun. But my worst game was definitely the original Ninja Turtles.
Dude, it was the worst. Level 4 was the worst level. You couldn't get past level 4. That shit was lame.
What was it? Was it the water? The water
Yeah.
part where you have to where you get electrified by I don't know what the hell. It was like Stegosaurus tiles
I
or something.
hated that game. I was so excited to get that game. I was like, yes, because I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I get level 4, and I was like, F this crap.
Yep. Every single time, and I had to start all over again. I hated it.
Oh, that game was the worst.
My special mention though was Battletoads. Battletoads was
Ooh.
absolutely great game.
That is pretty. That was a better game than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's for damn sure.
It was.
Terrible.
Toads versus Turtles. Wasn't there a mashup of Battletoads and Double Dragon?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
And it was
man.
phenomenal.
It was. Yeah, that was the first game I actually played with somebody else that was kind of like that. It was one of my cousins up in New Jersey. That was, I mean, it was like, wow, they can actually do this.
Yeah. I think it was one of the first real crossover kind of games too. Get 2 beat 'em ups all put in there.
Yeah, but we've got the so the next console up for bid.
Wait, you're not gonna ask me my favorite?
Oh,
Come on.
I know, right?
On.
Come on.
There, I got myself. What you got?
Mega Man 2.
There
My
you go.
absolute favorite Nintendo game. That was the best. Had the best bosses, had the best weapons.
Mhm.
And then the absolute worse than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is barely worse, was Adventure Island.
I don't remember playing that one.
Exactly, because it was terrible. Terrible. Hated that game.
Nonetheless, though, the SNES or the NES sold 62 million copies.
Yes.
Super Mario Bros. Legend of Zelda, repping Metroid.
Legend of
Metroid
Zelda
has
was
to be
another one.
mentioned.
Legend of Zelda, and then Double Dragon are right there, but Mega Man 2, dude. Man, that game was so good.
No, we didn't even mention Contra.
Oh, well, Contra was fun,
Mhm.
but it wasn't. It's Contra's definitely top 20. I don't know if Contra would actually make top 10 for me. Definitely not top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in a lot of people's top 10. Maybe not top 5, but a lot of people's top 10. Saturday Night Slam Masters,
Castlevania was good.
Castlevania. Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Super Pro Wrestling.
Mhm.
Pro Wrestling. Yeah, pro wrestling was good. That was the best wrestling game on. Not the
Yeah, that's right.
WWF.
No, it was like the one was like
Yeah, Starman. Yeah.
Oh,
Name
those-
that code.
Name that code. Oh, come on, bro. Like really? Do you see who's on stage right now? All right, so and so you said your worst was
Adventure Islands.
Adventure Island.
Yeah, see, it's so bad no one even knows what it was.
I
It was a Mario Brothers ripoff. It had like this, like it just. Oh my gosh! You want to, guys? You want to see a video of it?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and
Look,
pull that up.
We should feast our eyes upon its horridness. Let us remember it.
Like if you
And then
look it up,
remember
like
it
Adventure
anymore.
Island, everyone's like, "That was the worst game. That was the worst game." Let's see if I can. Yeah,
Yeah.
see, angry video game nerd plays it and he hates it. All right, here we go. Let me share this right here.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is
see?
totally.
It's a Mario
Totally
wannabe
ripoff.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, even the music, dude. It's all but this game was so flipping hard. It was so hard. I don't know if anyone ever played it.
Did he spit out like the fireballs? Like,
Yeah, dude, that game was terrible. I
oh,
hated that
come
game.
on, come on,
I hated
guys.
that game. It made me angry.
Oh man. Now, of course, everybody thinks that the first Sega Genesis system was the first system. It actually wasn't. It was actually the Sega Master System.
Yep.
And that came out in 1983 in Japan. It had, what was it, a Zilog Z80 with 3.58 megahertz and 8 kilobytes of RAM.
8 kilobytes of RAM.
8.
Getting into kilobytes now, bruh.
We're moving up. We're moving up in the world. So, since a lot of people never knew this system, these are the top 10 games for that system by, I guess, whoever this guy is. But I guess we're going to find out.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a top 10 countdown of games released on the Sega Master System. Let's not waste any time, kick things off with number 10 and jump straight into the video. First up, we've got Alex Kidd in Miracle World, Sega's original mascot way before Sonic was even born. He can run, jump, punch, and blast his way through those levels on a bike,
Kinda has
helicopter, or
some Mario
jet boat.
vibes to it,
And
don't
for
it?
some reason,
It
plays
does.
rock, paper, scissors with
Yeah.
all the bosses.
Roundedness.
Very charming game, absolute gem, but damn is it hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Asterisk on the
So
Master System is a very solid platformer.
I
Some
remember
as
this
the fat
guy.
Obelix or the
these
skinny guy
graphics from
Asterix,
we were
each
talking
with their
about
own
this doing
abilities and
the
moveset.
prep for this
There's
show.
very varied levels.
Remind us a
and
lot
just
of
the right
the
amount
Game
of
Gear.
difficulty that you won't beat this
Mhm.
first try, but after
Oh,
a few days,
yeah,
you
it
just went
does.
down.
Dude, these graphics are
Good
better than
music and a very
Nintendo.
nice, colourful game.
Man,
Wonder Boy
imagine
in
that.
Monsterland is based on the
Sega
arcade
was always
machine
like better, but they
kill
just
enemies, collect money
didn't
to
have
buy
the
better
edge
armor
like,
and weapons,
for whatever reason.
and fight ever more
Marketing.
challenging worlds and bosses.
That had to be marketing.
Some
They also
lovely
didn't
platform
have,
action
like,
in this adventure
The
game,
bet-
and it
like
can get quite tricky
they had the better
at the end.
graphics, they had the better system, but
Next, we
their
have
games
Wonder
weren't
Boy
like
3:
they
The
didn't have the
Dragon's
characters,
Trap,
you
a
know.
direct sequel
Like
to
Mario
Wonder Boy
was
Monsterland.
huge.
This time, the gameplay is non-linear, and you can tackle
Can we
areas
just
in
pause the
any way
sound
you
on this
see
while
fit.
we kind of
The same
peruse
plat-
there? There you go. Yeah,
Yeah, see,
The-
like this is like a wannabe Zelda
Mm-hmm.
because
it's like Zelda 2 kind of stuff.
Yeah, Zelda
Golden
2.
Axe was good.
Golden
though.
Axe.
Let's
Golden
not-
Yes.
Axe was the shit. So many
Yeah.
quarters lost to Golden Axe. So many quarters.
I mean, if you didn't roll up into your local arcade like Clint Eastwood with a fistful of them, you weren't doing it right.
No.
You just didn't do it right.
I did not go to school one day when my mom was like, "You can ride your bike to school." I was like, "Cool." There was like a 7-Eleven like right down the street from my school that had Golden Axe in the 7-Eleven, and I had a bunch of quarters from mowing lawns and I was there like pretty much all day. It's
Oh,
I
Crusty-
got in so
Crusty-
much trouble.
Dude, I remember playing the Simpsons game on the SNES. That was actually a pretty decent game.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of like Streets of Rage almost.
Yeah. That was also a great arcade game. Many quarters lost. The Simpsons
Oh
game.
my god, I can't even tell you.
Because it was like Streets of Rage or like X-Men. Remember the X-Men arcade game? That game was
Mhm.
awesome too.
The one that had 4 places for people to step up.
Yep.
I think the Ninja Turtles arcade machine was like that too.
Yep. And that became Ninja Turtles 2, I think, that came out on the Nintendo. It was similar.
Oh yeah, we
remember
get the boxes of pizza and the Foot Clan and all that.
Because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 was way better than the first one. The first one was shit.
And that was the game though, right? Sega was in the market for bringing arcade games to console to your home. That was their shtick.
There it is.
And here, Mortal Kombat. Now, Mortal Kombat didn't work out so well on this.
This came out on the Master?
Yeah.
Game Master?
Yeah. They only had 6 characters though.
Oh, I did not know that. That's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because the Game Master again is only in Japan, right?
Hey, there's my guy. What's up? Right there. The Master System one was not the best. It was not. It was a good start. It got the ball rolling. It got the little guy doing his spin dash and getting around. But when they came in on the next generation of Sonic, it was
it was over.
I used to play Sonic on the Genesis at Journeys in the Antelope Valley Mall when my sister and my mom would torture me by going shopping, and they'd be in Wet Seal for like hours. And one of my youth leaders at my church worked at Journeys, so I just sit there in the Journeys shoe store playing freaking Sonic.
Oh, this is awesome,
dude. Streets of Rage is probably my tops in this generation with the Master System and the Genesis, because that was my first real console. Is Sonic and the Streets of Rage. Those ones are the bomb.
Especially Streets of Rage 2.
The soundtracks are phenomenal on a lot of these games.
Yeah.
That's the thing that really hooked me. And it was like, I'm sitting there in school and I'm humming along to like, Chemical Plant.
Hilarious.
So much fun. All right, so that was the end of Generation 3. So let's go ahead and continue on with this guy, because he seems to have all the answers.
The third generation of video game consoles, also known as the 8-bit era, kicked off in 1985 with, you guessed it, the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was Nintendo's first foray into the North American video game
market. It was not that small!
We need to kick it up a little bit. We need to kick it forward.
Was it
don't we?
A smashing success.
We just talked about
their IPs like Super Mario and The Legend of Zelda were instant hits.
Well, he goes through all different types of games.
At the time. The controllers were simple, but way better than those from the second generation. The NES
Super Mario 3, man, that was such a great game.
Just a year later, in 1986, the Sega Master System and the Atari 7800 both hit store shelves to compete
Atari
with the
7800.
NES.
No one had that. That was for
the Master
the
System had a much smaller library than the NES, and its games simply weren't as good. The Atari 7800 was a big improvement over the 2600, but still had its fair share of problems, especially in terms of audio.
Magic versus Bird?
Yeah.
The fourth generation of video game consoles, better known as the 16-bit era, began in 1989 with the release of the TurboGrafx 16, and
which
the
was
Sega
just two
Genesis.
8-bit processors
The
put together.
TurboGrafx
It
16
sucked.
was technically not a 16-bit console,
Yeah.
as it used a modified 8-bit CPU, which led to poor sales. The Sega Genesis holds a special place in my heart as it was the first home console I ever played. For
So many
starters,
great games
it was
on the
actually a
Sega
16-bit
Genesis.
system, and all the Sonic the Hedgehog games
Look
absolutely
at how much better that
slapped.
looked.
It was such a good console with a great library of games, but still couldn't compete with the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Released in 1991, the SNES was the king of the fourth generation. I don't even know where to start with the SNES. The NES was so successful that Nintendo just knew the SNES would dominate sales. Its graphics were great. It had some incredible games, and those
Metroid.
controllers were top-notch. In fact, the SNES was so good, it was still popular well into the fifth generation. We also got the Neo Geo in 1991. It brought a unique arcade experience to your home, but it was so expensive that it was seen as a luxury console more than anything else.
Neo Geo. Wait, when they were talking about the Super Nintendo, they were showing the Nintendo.
The
I was so
Nintendo.
confused.
Yeah, that's why I was like this guy, because he. I wish. he needs a what does he need? He needs a
He needs to start over because I was like, "What the hell are you talking about, bro? You keep showing the Nintendo, and that's a Super Nintendo." Oh, look at that, the Genesis. All right, so help me out. There was this game on the Genesis. I didn't have a Genesis. We were only able to afford one video game system at a time. So we had a Super Nintendo, and my friend had a Genesis, and we swapped. And there was this one game, and it was like Pitfall. Remember the updated or Prince of Persia or whatever, because it was using they filmed a guy for the animations, but it was like a science fiction. It was like a Blade Runner type game. It was so good though.
Now I want to play it. I want to know what you're talking about. You're dropping all the right buzzwords for me.
Oh, dude, yeah. Okay, let me see. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, well,
There was a Castlevania-like game that was it was Bram Stoker's Dracula. I don't know if you ever played that one, but that was a hard game and it was really good. It wasn't like a ripoff of like a Metroidvania. It had a little bit different control scheme, but it was a platformer. That's kind of what that reminds me of, because it had a lot of that, things that were photographed or videoed, and the artwork was real gritty.
Yeah. Dude, what was it? Was it called Flashback? No.
We know what's crazy about this between the Genesis and the Super Nintendo is that the Genesis only had 64 kilobytes of RAM, while the Super Nintendo had 128.
But I can tell you why. Here's why.
Why?
Because when the difference between the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis is mainly in the sound system. Everything else that they do hardware-wise is very comparable, but the Sega Genesis had a built-in FM synthesizer chip from Yamaha, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And then it had a secondary sound chip as well, and that was also, it was a double-edged sword though, because that Nintendo's sound system was all sample-based, so you had to load the samples, whereas the Genesis could just play the songs. So it was very lean. It didn't need that extra RAM. Whereas on the SNES, you're loading up all of these extra files and whatnot to play the music too. It was cool. Both systems had their ways of doing things were like pros and cons, right? The problem on the Genesis side though was they didn't have the dev tools to make it really easy to build the sound samples, because literally everything on the Genesis, unless it was built into the cartridge, it was all FM synthesis. So that's why on the Genesis you have some games that have absolutely horrible sound design, and then you have other ones like Sonic, like Streets of Rage, that have the most phenomenal soundtracks. They're well put together, they're balanced, they're mixed well, they're composed phenomenally. And so some of those games translated over, like the Ninja Turtles game, that arcade game, you can tell when you listen to the soundtracks how it's sampled, where the samples will cut off at the end of notes if you listen real close, but it's not hateful. Whereas on the Genesis, it's very natural because it's literally playing a synthesizer in your console live from the sound files in the console.
Because the Genesis was better, because Sega always had better hardware. So the game was called Flashback, and it came out on the Super Nintendo, but it didn't come out till later, and it was not as good and didn't look as good. The music wasn't as good, to your point. The graphics weren't as good. But I remember playing the heck out of that game, dude. That game was so awesome. So awesome.
Dude.
You'll have to check it out. And you have it. You got to get. How have you not played Flashback? It's like one of the best Genesis games of all time. You got to get it.
I was poor too, so we're only allowed to get one game a year.
I mowed a lot of lawns to own all the video games that I did, and I wasted all my money. I could have bought stock and stuff. Instead, I bought video games.
Join the club. And I'm going to tell you what, though. The one game that I did spend all of my birthday money on was this one.
Oh, what? Dude, yeah.
NBA Jam. Yeah, dude. I love NBA Jam. Except the Lakers were terrible, and it made me sad.
This game Look at it for God's sake. That's all you need to do, even if you don't give a crap about basketball. This game
Bro,
is
and you
incredible
turned on
in
all
its
the power-ups?
absurdity, and not to
Yeah.
mention incredible in its 90s.
And then after you dunked, you would be on fire.
Phrases.
I had tournament edition where you could like break
Guys
the
jumping
backboard
30
and
feet
stuff.
into the air, the ball bursting
It
into
was
flames.
fire.
You got the
There
classic
it is.
90s
Except the
players
Lakers
like
were
Scottie
terrible.
Pippen, Dennis Rodman,
Oh, yeah,
and
they
the
were.
Bulls were
Who did-
terrible because they didn't have
Montrose.
Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not to mention the
Who
pathetic
was it?
lineup
It was
of my
who did they have in
hometown
the Lakers? They had
Timberwolves.
Vlade
J.R.
Divac.
Ryder, Doug
and-
West,
Like,
Christian
Van
Laettner.
Exel and Vlade.
Man, that's
Van
terrible.
Exel.
Anyway, NBA Jam brings all these elements together to form the ultimate arcade game. Now, you might be thinking right now, what's the difference between the
Oh,
original
man.
NBA Jam
But, I
and
mean-
Tournament
I love the
Edition?
Charlotte
In terms of
Hornets
the
because it was like
actual
Kendall
gameplay,
Gill and Larry
absolutely nothing.
Johnson.
It's nearly identical.
Well, this
But
was the
Tournament
tournament
just
edition
has
where it
more
had
stuff,
3
more
players
players
per
and
team.
more codes. Codes like being able to dunk
They
from
had,
anywhere on
in
the
that
floor.
one they had Muggsy
Seriously,
Bogues,
this
Alonzo
never, ever
Mourning,
gets old.
and Larry
There's tons
Johnson.
of
That
other
team I
codes,
played
too,
with a
like
lot.
being able to block every shot, infinite turbo, slippery mode, speed mode,
Slippery
on fire
mode. I used to
mode.
hate
You can
slippery
even
mode.
enable hotspot settings, which can allow
Oh my god.
So I loved that game.
I
That
can't-
and that game, but my favorite games probably to play were the hockey games, the EA hockey games, NHL. Oh,
Yes.
Those were actually pretty
NHL
good.
94. I broke that game.
yeah, I played the hell out of those games. And Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, and then Street Fighter 3.
No, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That's when it had the 4 extra
Oh
characters.
yeah.
Because it had who was it? It was Fei Long, T-Hawk,
Balrog.
You're thinking
Balrog.
Champion Edition.
and Vega, right?
Yeah.
Street Fighter
Championship
2
Edition.
Champion Edition had, because it had DJ on there as well.
DJ, that was the other guy.
That was
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters on that. Cammy was in that one. Let's see how many other characters were there? That was when you could actually play as Bison as well, because I don't think you could play as him in the original games.
I hate myself for selling all my old games and consoles so I could buy new games and consoles.
You know what's funny is that they would probably still work.
I know. And that would have been a lot more fun than a lot of the games you can play now. Like games now I feel like they're not as fun, man. You know, they're
Well,
too serious.
What it is that because remember on I think it was Xbox, the original Xbox, when Halo 2 came out, they launched online mode. That was the first time. I think it was no, it had the Sega Dreamcast. You were able to play. I don't know if you were able to play online, but you were able to do things online.
Yeah.
But when Halo 2 came out, that's when they had the Xbox Game Pass. And that's when it started. And I remember that because you were able to do it online through the Xbox, and you were able to get like 3 months for free, and then you had to pay X amount of money. But I think that's where everything died, because it was no longer the in-home console come over with your friends. It was my friends are at their house, I'm at my house,
Yeah.
and we're playing. It just kind of.
Yeah. No more LAN parties. Come on, man. LAN
Dude.
parties were great.
I can't wait to talk about that next
Dude,
week.
the last time I did something that was LAN party-ish was on the 360. We had a Minecraft party, and we hooked all of our systems up in the house on 360. We brought TVs in, and we found everywhere and anywhere we could put them in the house, and we were just sitting there doing that, having drinks, having a little time.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Now you have to have a subscription. Everything's a freaking subscription to get on and play together.
Well, it's because the games are so much more complicated. They're way more expensive to develop. Like there was a big like a lot of people were talking about this, and you had like the lolbitarians talking about it, and then other people, and they're all talking about how like, oh no, games are getting more expensive, and they shouldn't because they're digital. And it's like, dude, games are way more complicated now. The graphics are way more complicated. The game development teams are like 3 times the size. You have voice acting now.
They're full productions. They're full on productions with entire like multiple departments of staff. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's
But they
awesome, but also I remember the days where you just would have to read the instruction booklet to learn how to play. Now you got this like hour-long freaking tutorial, and I'm like, I just want to play the game.
Remember when you went to call into what is it called, to Nintendo
It-
Power, and they had the
they
phone
had
number
the
to help you?
helpline.
Yeah, the helpline to get through different games. Oh,
I just waited for the next edition of Tips and Tricks to come out.
Yeah.
That was my jam. You
And
know,
the internet's ruined everything because you don't even have those awesome magazines anymore with all the artwork and everything. It's just all online.
dude, the fan art in the front of EGM was the bomb. It was so cool. Some of that fan art was great. I might still have some of my old game magazines in a box someplace. I wish I'd have looked for them. Probably in a storage unit. But
I'm
dude,
pretty sure. Yeah, because I know I got the old Sega Genesis, not the old system or the Master System, but the Sega Genesis that was long. It was like rectangular. I know I
The
got it
Sega
somewhere.
CD?
No, the Sega CD was after that. I think I got my Sega CD in '96 or '97. I want to say.
Because the Sega CD came out and that flopped, and then the Saturn came out, right? Am I remembering
well, there's
that
a
right?
32X.
No, Saturn was
also.
first.
Look, we got to talk about the Power Tower, the Tower of Power.
Oh,
Dude, just Google image search Sega Tower of Power, and you will come up with the most heinous concoctions of cartridges and add-ons you've ever seen in your life. It's next to the Tower of Babylon. It is so heinous, God should strike it down.
bro.
Dude, these are
There's a Mega Drive
redonkulous.
here in the cave. There's the Pioneer Laser Active with its unique Mega Drive game
Pioneer
on
Laser Active?
Laserdisc.
Wait,
There's
you
the
gotta pull the
Amstrad
Tower
Mega
of Power?
PC for the British approach of
Oh,
mashing
where is it?
together.
Where's
the hell is
a
this thing?
console. Or
Parts
in the
needed
same
for the
vein,
tower.
the IBM Terra Drive.
Where's the
Oh,
hold on,
I
here
see.
we go.
There you go. No, he's
Or
talking
maybe
about all
you
kinds of
remember
stuff.
playing on the Megatech
Just
arcade
Google
cabinets,
image search.
a
You'll
Mega
find it.
Drive-based
You'll
arcade.
find them. It's
Let me show you how all this works back here. First of all, there's power to deal
Yeah.
with, and believe it or not, there's three
oh yeah, that's a
power
CD.
inputs,
That's the
32X,
Genesis, like this one I've got here.
Mega Drive and the Mega CD. Two of them have a negative polarity in the center. One has positive polarity, which means if you accidentally plug the wrong cable into the wrong thing, you are at risk of
Yeah, with the little
irreversible
red
damage
piece
to this.
there.
So we've
Yep.
got to be
Or
very
rigor.
careful about what we put
Comes
where.
out, I
The
believe.
32X is
It
center
says do not
positive,
remove, but
and that's this one.
it
This
comes
is the
out, I
original
believe,
power
so you can
supply.
add on that little
Put in
side
there. And then the Mega
connector.
Drive one and the Mega CD.
Yeah.
Wait,
Um,
what is this? Wait, so I'm confused. You just stack them up. They don't you just stack it up. That's it.
Yep. Basically, they have little like jumper cables and whatnot. They leverage I believe it leverages the main processing of the Genesis itself, and then it has all the add-ons are to just expand out like the memory and whatnot. But the 32X had a 32-bit processor that actually jumped in the middle
Oh,
there. It was
wow.
kind of cool. Yeah. You can buy cartridges now. I forget what it's called, but you can buy a cartridge that you can side load. Yeah, there's the 32X on it. You can side load an SD card with as many backups of your games as you wish, and it will play CD games and 32X as long as you have a 32X and Genesis games all in one cart.
Wow.
That's like $250. I forget what it's called, but you can look it
But-
up. Just yeah, there it is. Look at that monstrosity. What hath they done? The
this
SNES had it too because
This is the one right here, guys. This is the one right here. Look at this guy.
oh no. I gotta see
Look at that.
this.
Look at this thing.
oh, we got to pull him up, add him to stage. Ooh, no, that's not gonna work. That's not actually gonna work though. But yeah, too many.
It's just like boom, 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 boom.
Bro, save some ladies for the rest of us. Like, but no. So what do you think? All right. So what do you think the downfall was for the Sega Genesis? Because obviously Nintendo was just kept going and going and going, and they stayed in their lane, and that's the reason why they're so successful. But what do you think it was for Sega?
That thing we just saw.
That thing.
That's exactly it.
You think that's what? Well, you talking about why the Sega Genesis or Sega in general stopped making consoles?
Well, they weren't able to continue their sales and development properly because they got caught in the middle of a cycle on top of being self-sabotaged. There was a rivalry, internal rivalry and hatred of Sega America by the Japanese corporate. Sega's Japan division cut the legs out from underneath of the American division so many times that it finally bit them all in the backside. It came back to ruin them because they were trying to play catch up, and instead of just leaving well enough alone with the Genesis and developing a whole new system, which is what the Sega of America wanted to do, I believe it was them that wanted to actually just go all in on what the Saturn was, but they didn't, and they got spread out too far with their resources and their development and everything. They had internet connection. They had SegaNet. If you had and that was only in Japan, so they had all these extra expansions that were well beyond their time. The Saturn was kind of a flop, and then the Dreamcast, which did pretty well, which we'll get to,
which was the best console. That console was awesome.
But it was another case of them being ahead of their time. But we'll get to that eventually, I believe.
Dreamcast was awesome.
Yeah. There were a couple of games for Dreamcast that were
controller
phenomenal.
That controller was the best controller.
It had the little the VMU unit thing, whatever that was called, that went in
LCD
it.
Screen. Yeah, an LCD screen.
It was like a Tamagotchi you could take around with you.
Yeah,
and you could play with your little chow.
Yeah, that was so. The Saturn was great. I still have my Saturn. Ooh, speaking of, where is it? Oh, it's in the garage.
By the way, NBA Jam on the Saturn sucked.
NBA Jam. You know what? Great, but the Saturn had great games like Shining Force and Shining Force 2 and Dragon Force and Dragon Force 2. Those were two of the best video games you could ever get, and they were only on the Saturn.
Nights into Dreams was one I always wanted to play. Was that any good?
I never played it. But
because it was a Sega team or
those
a
were the
game.
Those are the consoles where I started. I didn't get the Sega Saturn until I graduated high school, and I got a job, and then I was spending all my work money on video.
Hey, we've got one. Shining Force was awesome.
Yeah, dude. Shining Force is a great game, and Shining Force 2 was also a great game.
Look, that's not accurate. I'm just gonna have to go back against old Brian here. Sega's hairstyle is not mullet. Sega's hairstyle is mohawk.
No, I disagree. Sega's hairstyle is hockey mullet.
Hockey mullet.
Oh my god.
The difference between mullet and hockey mullet.
Sega
was hockey mullet because it was super cool and only worked on Sega. It wouldn't have worked on anyone else. Like a hockey mullet only works on Yarmir Yager.
All right. So Sega Genesis had multiple franchising hits, right? So this time what we're going to do for the Genesis is we're going to get our two best games and then two worst games. Now, I'm going to start this one because with the Sega and the Sega CD mesh up, there were a couple of games for Sega CD that actually were awesome. I know that CD era is next week, but I'm gonna pull it in for this one because I've got a lot to say about that next week. So for Sega Genesis, I'd have to say that obviously the Streets of Rage 2 came in close, but I'm thinking Evander Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing was the first real type of boxing where it took in metrics for how much power you had, how much speed you had, how much stamina you had, how much defense you had. And then you could fight either straight or southpaw. And based on your metrics was how the fight was going to go, because certain people couldn't fight other people because of the way that their characters were set up. So you could set them up different ways. And that game by far was one of my favorite. My second, both of them on Sega CD. I've got two other games. Afterburner 3, not just because it was not because it was just a playing game with unlimited ammo where you could shoot everything, but the soundtrack to that game is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time of any video game. Look it up, Afterburner 3 for Sega CD, and just listen to the soundtrack. It was like epic. Also, yes.
I never played that game, but I remember it.
Oh my god, this game was so awesome. Do they have gameplay?
Yeah, this is a walkthrough.
Oh man, you see how it's got like if you take too many hits to the head, like your head starts to go gray, and then it gets all the way down, and you start bleeding all over your face. Like it was. And you can see they have the camera there, right? And the camera shows right there in the center up at the top. It shows you where you are in the ring, and you can move yourself around. Dude, it was...
Box. Oh, he's going down. He's going down.
Let's see if we Afterburner.
Yeah, Afterburner 3 soundtrack. Yeah, it's got to be Sega CD, though.
Can you guys hear the sound on my end?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's see if we can get up in here.
There, here we go. Here we go. Dude, the soundtrack in this is awesome. And then it loads up.
Tomcat.
Yeah, and then, yeah, it's coming up here.
Afterburner, man. Yeah, this game was awesome.
Go a little bit further.
Now, the cool thing about the CD is they could actually do full recorded album music and not be restricted to just the synthesizer chip.
Dude, it was like listen to this first level. Like just...
But that's the FM chip. That's what that is. I can tell.
Every single level is just like it's like all top music. Amazing.
That's a real guitar track.
Yeah.
I have a guitar. Yeah.
But yeah, so every time I heard the music on here, like you just you're into the game. Like every time that I played this game, I could not take my eyes off the screen because it was just every single level you went through. I think it was every 2 stages the music would change, and it would change into something different. But it like the music just increasingly got more epic.
The thing about Afterburner was it was Top Gun done right, because Top Gun video game on NES was crap.
Yeah,
it was crap.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's definitely top 5 worst video games of all time.
Note down. All right, and then of course for Sega CD, the third one you don't have to pull this one up was Hook, Peter Pan.
Oh,
dude,
so terrible.
It was awesome.
Are you kidding? It was so bad. Oh my gosh. It was so cheesy and bad.
I had so much fun playing this game. So much fun.
I can't fly.
Oh no!
And everybody's looking at us like we have 3 heads now.
Remember how to fly because you've grown up. You're still the same old
The
Peter,
need for speed.
always causing me trouble.
But it had all these cutscenes and stuff. Like,
yeah.
Like in between each level, there was like cutscenes, and then you had to. The thing is, you couldn't figure out how to fly. If you didn't know how to fly, you were going to die every single time.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about it was like one of the early games that had voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not a lot of games had voice acting. I mean, even it took a long time for now. Like every game's got voice acting, but I mean, this was like one of the first games.
But my worst game for any of the Sega series, actually, well, I guess there is 2. They're fighting for last. Is Echo the Dolphin.
Oh my gosh, that game sucked.
And Wonder Dog.
I never heard of it.
You don't want to.
I like how I echo the dolphin. I feel attacked.
You liked Echo the Dolphin because you love Sonic, and it was basically the same game but underwater.
You're right. Bro, look at this. And they tried to make it sound like
Dude, that
this heavenly
soundtrack
music.
was so good.
The soundtrack was decent. Remember this, and then all of a sudden, like, something ended up happening?
I don't remember the story of Echo the Dolphin. All I knew was, let's get on with this game and let's.
It's probably trying to brainwash you into some environmental bullshit.
Yeah, see, it was so. It was not easy.
No, it wasn't. The control scheme was weird. The control scheme was something where you had to actually rotate the dolphin with non-intuitive. Once you figured it out, it was okay, but it was definitely difficult.
Are they gonna hump? Are they gonna do it? Make babies?
All right, so
Salty,
what's yours? I know I took up everybody's time. So
wait, for what console? You mean for Generation 3? For Gen 3?
For Gen 4. So for either Super Nintendo, you can either do Super Nintendo or you can do Sega Genesis.
Oh my gosh. I would say for the Genesis, it was Flashback was my favorite game. For the Super Nintendo, oh man, what was my favorite game for the Super Nintendo, dude? That's a hard one. Probably NHL 94.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be super basic. I'm gonna be basic bitch and just go NHL 94. I played the crap out of that game.
Me
dude.
too.
That game was so awesome.
Or no, FIFA 94 as well.
FIFA was fun. Yeah,
FIFA was a lot of fun.
I'm trying to think. There's like. What is this?
This is your Flashback.
Oh yeah, dude, this game was so dope. I love this game.
That animation's great,
dude. Right?
Wow.
They were doing the Prince of Persia thing where they basically video capped everything, and that's why everything's so fluid and smooth.
I can vibe with this soundtrack too.
Yeah, no, it was a really cool game, man. It's definitely like if you have a Genesis, you should definitely check it out because it was a lot of fun, man. I'm trying to think, was there another non-sports game? Because I always hate having a sports game be my favorite because they come out with a new one every year. But 94, I played the hell out of 94.
Oh, an honorable mention: Jurassic Park for Jacket.
Oh, Jurassic Park was so. That would be definitely probably top 5, man. That game was so. I love Jurassic Park.
I did play that one too. That was good.
That was such a good game, man. I can't even think of all the
Sega.
I can't even think of all the games.
Oh my god! And there were all those different weapons that you can get, and it took you through the entire island.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
Yeah.
I love that.
Now the Jurassic Park for Sega CD was similar, but it was way too hard.
What was the Zelda game for? I loved the Zelda game for Super Nintendo. I can't remember what it was called, but it was the first one that came out on Super Nintendo. I love that game too. That game was pretty awesome.
Was
Man,
that?
we gotta go back.
I did love Street Fighter 3.
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter 3 was fun. You had the Bruce Lee Fei Long character. He's like, yeah, the triple kick. Wah, wah, wah!
And the woo.
I love how it starts out with the one iconic scene from the movie. Jurassic Park's one of those movies I saw in the theater as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I remember when it was during the NBA Finals that year. My dad was watching the NBA Finals, and the preview, not the preview, but the what do you call it? Losing my brain here. Yeah, it was like the preview came out on commercial, And like even my dad got up out of his chair and was like, "What?" And so he had to do it.
I've changed my answer because I'm so dumb. My most favorite game on the Super Nintendo, Chrono Trigger. I forgot that was because I played that game on PlayStation 2 because it came out like PlayStation 3, like I had a re-release of it. It had but they added in all the animation. But yeah, Chrono Trigger, I played that game so much that I was able to do the hardest ending, which was just you and the chick going straight to the boss and fighting the end boss. But yeah, Link to the Past was a great game. But Chrono Trigger, absolutely, hands down, my favorite Super Nintendo video game of all time. This game was so great, dude.
We got some people in the in the Rumble chat too. Avatos, he said, let's see, Xbox killed Dreamcast. Yeah, probably. If Dreamcast would have waited like one more year, then
it just did not survive the console wars, man. Like, not even Nintendo really survived the console wars. They just had, like, Nintendo decided instead of trying to compete with the console wars to just go the family route, like, you know, with like, oh, we're gonna do the Wii with the different controller and stuff because they just could not.
Yeah, and Wii Sports, like that, just.
Yeah, dude, this game was so much fun. The music was great. I love the battle. You had the combos, the combinations, the graphics were great.
He said, I'm just quoting the Hook game. Maybe it wasn't direct quote, sounded like an intro to a cheap porno.
Hilarious.
Oh.
Did you ever play this game, Scrap? This game was so fun, man.
I didn't have a Super Nintendo. I knew guys that played this and had it, but it wasn't really a game that was in my group of, you know.
Your childhood sucked.
I was
great.
I was not. See, I was playing games like this. This right here is probably in my top 2.
Oh, Eternal Champions.
Eternal Champions was great.
Yeah, dude, this game was dope.
This is one of those stories about Sega cutting its own legs out from underneath of it. This game was internally competing with Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter was trying to get traction when the 32X came out, but it couldn't. And this game was actually outdoing it. And the problem was this was an American-made game versus Virtua Fighter being made by a Japanese over in the other camp. So what ended up happening was, and this got I got kind of a sequel on the CD. I didn't play that one, but Eternal Champions had a whole storyline. It's like take Mortal Kombat to the next level.
Yeah.
And the whole concept was that he was the Eternal Champion, which is right there, is bringing these fighters together, these people that met untimely deaths to compete. And they all had their own backstories and everything, and they had interlocking, you know, beef with each other at different points, but each fighter is from a different time.
Do they have a fight sequence
on
this video? Do they have a fight sequence?
Yeah.
So just scrolling boring ass text.
Sorry.
Like, a freaking novel. Good Lord. Oh yeah, look at that. It's like,
That's
what's up, bitch in a
and
dress?
Xavier.
It's like a detective versus a witch.
Like a warlock.
Warlock?
Yep. Midas touch. Anybody?
Nice.
So, it's based on that one. But once you get to the end of it here, I think right up here you'll see like there were environmental fatalities. So right here, you end up with Warlock getting burned alive. So like,
hilarious.
Yeah. And the soundtrack was good too.
Oh, that's insane.
So like, Larson again here fighting against this vampire. I forget his name. But yeah, like their specials, they have the counter that go up as you taunt and everything, and you can only do your special moves so often.
What happened? Did he die? Did you die? Poison Ivy?
Poison Ivy.
Oh, here's another.
She dead. DED dead. Yeah. Let's see. Fizzle says Primal Rage was the best fighting game.
Primal Rage was a good one.
Primal Rage was awesome. Yeah, that was a fun game.
Oh man. All right, so let's do one more, and then we'll call it in here. But man, this is taking me way back.
This is my all time next to Sonic. Is got to be Streets of Rage.
Number 2.
Yeah,
Number 2.
Streets of Rage was freaking fantastic. That was like take off your pants fun. Wait, what?
Oh,
yeah, no, like me and my brothers, we would sit here and we would play this for like hours into the night.
You can't beat this soundtrack. This soundtrack is so good.
I'm just waiting for Sade to come out, left stage.
So much reading. Good lord.
Yeah, I know. I skipped ahead to one of the bridge things, but yeah.
Yeah, Streets of Rage was great.
And the third game,
jab.
The third game, if you went and completed the game with certain characters or defeated certain bosses without getting hit, you got a flawless, basically. You could unlock them to play them. The crazy thing was, because Streets of Rage didn't have 1, 2, or 3, they didn't have a save game state like Sonic 3 did. You would have to unlock them while the game was on. And if you turned your Sega off and back on again, you lost those characters. So like there was a kangaroo character in Streets of Rage 3, one of the ninja characters you could fight as. I believe there was one more that you could as well. There were at least 3 secret characters in Streets of Rage 3.
You could leave your Sega Saturn on for an indefinite amount of time though, because there was a time when I actually my internal memory card stopped working and I didn't have an external memory card. So, and I was playing Dragon Force, and so I just left it on for like a week so I could beat Dragon Force.
Oh my god, that's the best. Yeah, and then no, I did that once for Gran Turismo 2.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Dude, we when I was so I was working at a company. It was like my second job out of high school. I won't say which company because I don't want to get in trouble. But we shipped our PlayStations with a chip so that you could play imported games from Japan, because we wanted to play. We had Gran Turismo like a year before it came out to America. We were playing it because we had the Japanese version, which was way better, a way better game, just like insanely way better. Way more cars, way more add-ons, the whole thing. And then we found out that we could copy video games using Apple software. And at the company that I worked at, we had a burn tower that like had 10 CD burners, and if you put the master CD at the top, it could burn like 10 copies at once. And so we would rent a game from Blockbuster, copy it, and then burn that copy like 4 more times or whatever, and give it to all my friends with their chip. So we had so many games, man, like just stacks and stacks of games like that we didn't play, but we just rent it and copy it and have it. Although that never happened. That was fictional world. Right?
No, not at all. I have no idea what you're talking
We were
about.
making backups of our games that we bought. That's all we were doing. That's all we were doing.
Just in case it didn't work. But yeah, no, this was the golden age, because when you had, like I said, when you had your friends come over, and it was just like, you had the one friend that was just better than everybody else, and that was the pinnacle. You had to go and beat that person, and it was so much fun.
That was me. I was the one that you had to beat.
Oh man. We got to do that one sometime. We got to bring back some nostalgia.
Like,
Well,
I
yeah.
just always get confused, accused of being a button masher with Tekken 4 because I used martial law. I was like, I ain't button mashing mother ever. I just know how to play this character. Let's go, and I would win. Because you're button mashing. I'm like, no, I'm not. It just seems like it.
Yeah, right. My fingers are fast. But yeah, so Salty, man, that was a lot of fun going back in time and seeing some of this stuff.
I love video games so much.
Absolutely.
I'm
So
playing one right now. After I get off here,
as soon as I get out of here,
I'm playing video games on my PC because I'm no longer a console peasant.
Oh, and PCs are happening right up the way with all of these things that we've been talking about here, and we'll get into that probably in the next couple episodes.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Salty, what you got to shout out?
Oh, yeah. So if anyone's interested, if you guys are comic book readers, here, let me pull this up.
He said, are you talking about Ocarina of Time?
Oh, no, that was on the Ocarina of Time was on the 64. Yeah.
Okay.
That was now Link to the Past. It was Zelda Link to the Past. So I'm sharing my screen. But if you guys are interested, I have a comic book out that you can pre-order right now. I'll show you guys this video because it's way better than anything. Can you hear it?
I mean, will we still need humans?
Not for most things.
They told you AI was just a tool, but what if it was a trap? Designed to addict, engineered to isolate, built to control. They want you in the pod, hooked to the machine. Your thoughts, dreams, and ideas harvested like crops until there's nothing left. But one man stands in their way. Ben Franklin. He is Silence Dogood, a time travel agent on a mission to shatter their enslavement of humanity. The battle for your mind begins. Silence Dogood Volume 1, Electric Dream.
So, this is my comic book. It's about a teenage Ben Franklin that gets kidnapped and trapped inside a VR program. Speaking of video games, he gets trapped inside a VR program and then is trying to figure his how to get out. And then when he, spoilers, but it's basically the story about him getting out and then finding himself in this really dystopian future where AI is kind of taking over. The global elite, tech elites, are trying to enslave humanity, force everyone to live in the pods, and he thinks this is a horrible, horrible thing. And so he joins a paramilitary group to stop the evil a-holes from enslaving humanity through technology. And it is got 5 days left for the pre-order. So this is the comic book that we launched on the Timcast Discord. It did really, really well. And we decided to add a bunch of new pages, update the lettering, make the art a little bit better, and we got a bunch of covers. So we got 4 covers. You can get 4 covers, or just one. It's got a sweet shirt. You love this shirt. You guys will probably love this shirt. It's Ben Franklin with some jewelry, and it says "Silence Dogood. Well done is better than jibba jabba."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Does you have multiple comics like that? We can buy a whole set.
So it was issues. The original comic series was issues 1 through 3, and so this graphic novel is all 3 issues with additional pages, and new lettering and updated artwork. And it's kind of like the second chance for people that didn't see the Timcast campaign that we did. And then it comes with a 6-page preview of my next comic book, which is going to be super based and awesome, which takes place in a Civil War America. And there's this guy that does like black ops operations behind enemy lines in California, in the blue states, and lots of guns. So if you guys
I like this one. That's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite stills from that. That's
awesome.
Cool, man.
What about you, Scrap?
I've been waiting for him to put this out. I didn't realize he was going to go all in with some extras on top of it. I thought this was something new. I'm like, hey, wait, where's that box set? I was like,
no, this is it. This is what I told you to wait for. So this is it. We got 5 days left on the pre-order. So it's the full entire story, introductory story of this world. This will get you caught up for when issue 4 comes out.
What's the website to find that?
That is on Indiegogo. Here, let me share it in the private chat.
Put some links. We'll put some links out. We'll shill it up on X and here in the chat.
Yeah, so it's on Indiegogo. You guys can find me on X at Salty Draws. I got links there.
Draws like DRAWS.
Yes,
like draws. Change of draws.
Drew a comic book. So that's my comic book that I wrote and illustrated. I did all the artwork, did the writing, and then we got some covers from some cool comic book artists from Comicsgate that did some covers as well as my covers. But yeah, there's the link in the private chat, and then you guys can share that out if you don't mind. Buy my book.
I'm gonna do that.
Buy my book. So
go.
You can, and if we get to 10,000 on the campaign, we got 5 days left. If we get to 10,000, we will be turning the regular edition cover into a foil cover.
Ooh.
So you see that right there.
Really nice.
We like foil.
Yeah. So if we can get to 10 grand in the next 5 days, which I think we can do, so I'm going to be making a hard push this week, this coming week, and we'll get to 10 grand. We're going to do a foil cover of that.
Nice.
And then, so check it out, guys. It's a really good comic book. It's been well received. Scrap, I know you wanted to check it out, so you should. Everyone should go buy it. And it's a pre-order. It's not like you guys are crowdfunding this. This is done. It's about this thick. So it's a full-on book, man.
I think I'm going to buy mine tonight.
Do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Let's get to 10 grand so we can get the regular edition cover. Everyone that ordered the regular edition cover will get a foil. You can buy all 4. There's a perk there to buy all 4.
Okay.
If you guys want to check it out, yeah, man. And then help us. And the one thing about this too is the comic book is definitely, it's not going to do what Marvel and DC are doing right now. It's not going to be all woke. It's not going to be all lame. It's not going to be all lefty wing. It's definitely pretty. It's from my political perspective, which is very, pro liberty, pro America, America first type perspective. So the concept really started with what would our founding fathers think of the world that we've created. And then that was kind of like the basis of this idea. And then it kind of grew. And I started injecting AI into it, like when I first started writing it 3 years ago. And now with AI taking off, I'm like, holy crap, this is crazy. Because what you read in the book is probably what's going to end up happening in our future. And we might be very close to it. So it might be a documentary. It may end up being like Idiocracy, where it's basically a documentary.
But not. But not. All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. You guys already know you can go to riseofmiddleamerica.com for our website. As we got our recent rants, news, deep dives, you name it, we're there. All of our silly little faces there.
I love it, man.
Yes. And then, of course, at the bottom of the page, you can show your support. We're going to ROMA Nation Network merch. Let me see if I can pull it up this time. No, it's still not working. I don't know why. Anyways, we'll figure that out at some point. But yeah, we've got all of our merch there. We've got our Caption This merch. We've got our Ohio Man merch. We've got the Roma merch. And we've got all the cool hats. So you guys should definitely check it out. RiseOfMiddleAmerica.com. Scrap, you ready to put this to rest?
Let's do it.
Absolutely. All right. Salty, stick with us afterwards. Make sure your video downloads. Should be a couple minutes. But outside of that, we'll see you guys next week for episode 2.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for letting me crash the party. I love video games. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys.
Enjoy
you guys
the outro.
Have a good night. Peace.
Hustle in my veins, no rest, no dream, trying to make a way. Whole team gotta eat. No sleep, gotta keep going. No sleep, till the world know it. No sleep, till the world know it. No sleep, till the world know it. I've been moving like a clock, no stop, no breaks, no rest, no time to flop. Gotta get it while I'm breathing, never taking a loss. lost. See the pain in my eyes, but the vision stay locked. Ain't nobody finna hand me a thing. Came from the bottom, I rose through the rain. Hustle like I never had a meal on my plate. Now we eating so good that the hunger remains. Fast lane, never slowing my pace. Tell them I was built for the chase. Every night trying to double my worth. Put my name in the sky, make it shake up the earth.